Please read the disclaimer. So obviously I'm going to turn the audio off straight away because copyrighted music and all that jazz. So welcome. Today we are continuing to look at MTV video games or MTV related video games, the ones that have the MTV branding. And we're looking at the third game in this series that I'm doing, and that game is MTV Sports TJ Lavin's Ultimate BMX. This is actually going to be the final MTV Sports game I'm going to be looking at, after which obviously it's still going to be MTV, but it's just not of the MTV Sports brand, it's just normal MTV. This one doesn't seem to be received particularly well, whereas the two snowboarding games didn't have a Metacritic, which I don't really value Metacritic score very highly, I'm just being honest. It's nice to see what other people think of the game, whether if it is critics or not. And whereas I thought the two snowboarding games were actually pretty decent, this one doesn't seem to be received very well. So, But then again, it's not developed by Radical Entertainment. This game is developed by Blue Shift, never even heard of the developer before. Published by THQ again, and it was released in March 2001 for the PlayStation 1. I forgot to mention in the previous video, Pure Ride did get a Game Boy Color version. Just like this game also got a Game Boy Color version, just like MTV Sports Skateboarding, which also got a Game Boy Color version. Why they were giving them Game Boy Color versions, I don't know. A little bit weird, but I don't know. So, of course, the very first thing I'm going to do is go to options. I'm going to go to sound levels, and I'm going to take the music level down to 0. Because again, like I said, I feel like I have to reiterate this every video because not everybody is going to be watching all 3 of the videos. Is the reason why I put the music at level 0. I don't care if the video gets copyright claimed. What I care about is if the video gets blocked. So, and generally speaking, if you have one copyrighted song in your video, that's not an issue. But if you have multiple, because again, it's going to cycle through various different songs, it can sometimes cause the video to get blocked, which is just really annoying. So I'd rather just not have the music in there to so that chance does not happen. Again, I don't care about the video being claimed. I just care about it being blocked. So yeah, before we actually jump into the game, I'm actually curious to see what other games Blue Shift has created. Just to see. So they did Hydro Thunder on the PlayStation 1. Hydro Thunder was a fairly well-received game back in the day, wasn't it? There's another game called Running Wild, which seems to be a animal racing game. Similar to Mad Crash. Is it Mad Crash Racing on the Xbox? I don't know. They did a game here and there until 2006 where they just stopped making games, I guess. They also did a game called Toxic Grind on the original Xbox. That was also a BMX game that was not received very well. Funny enough. World Series Baseball 2K3 they did. That was received quite well though. But then again, if it's they're just using a previous engine. ESPN Major League Baseball. They seem the baseball games are rated pretty highly. So, well, saying that MLB Slugfest 2006 is not rated particularly high. But after that game, they just kind of stopped. But yeah. I always find it interesting to look at like you see a developer you've never heard of before. I always find it interesting to have a look at their backlog to see what other games that they developed, just to get a general idea of, if there's a game that I notice and I think, oh, I know that's not a good one. Tends to give you a bit of an idea of what the game's going to be like. So I'm going to go practice session because I just want to see how the game plays. Generally speaking, so let's see. So we have TJ Lavin, which the game's, again, it is called TJ Lavin's Ultimate BMX for a reason. Don't know who this bloke is. He isn't no Matt Hoffman at the end of the day. So I don't know who he is, but Fuzzy Hall, Chris Doyle, Matt Beringer, Colin Wickelman, Mike Ardelian, Chris Duncan, Brian Foster, Dave Freymuth, Jamie Bestwick. Okay. Well, I just want to pick Colin Winkleman because his surname is Winkleman, and I think that's funny as fuck. I am, yes, I am a child. So we have TJ's backyard. These ones seem to be locked. Oh, they're all locked. Wow, really? Mission Hong Kong. Trial boss fire. Aces high. Oh, weird. So we can only pick TJ's backyard, which I never liked that with like look at MTV Sports, snowboarding and Pure Ride. You've got 3 tracks. The first game had 3 tracks you can pick from. The second game had was it? Well, both games had 4 tracks that you could pick from straight from the beginning of the game. And yet when you go into this game, you have 1 track. Why not have like at least the 4 tracks? Like you've got one. You've got 4 tracks, and then you've got that one in the top right that cycled through a few different ones. How about you have the 4 tracks unlocked from the get-go, and the ones that are in the top right, which I guess you could say are this like special tracks, have to be unlocked from playing the career mode or whatever. So instead, you're limited to this. Oh God! Oh dear! Oh my word! What are these controls? Okay. In case you're wondering, oh, and he's off the bike. In case you're wondering, like my first impression, the controls are fucking dog shit. Yeah, they are pretty bad. Oh God. They are pretty bad. No wonder this game is not received very well. So, if you're wondering why I say the controls are bad, they feel stiff as fuck. So the controls are incredibly stiff, which, like I said, one of the key things I mentioned in MTV Sports Pure Ride is that the game had good flow, the controls had good flow. You kind of need that in a game like this. That's the reason why Tony Hawk's was such a successful series, was the controls were the controls were pretty much perfect in comparison to the fact that they flowed really, really well. You had a good pacing, like how going, you felt well rewarded by going really fast doing a trick and so on and so forth. This just feels extremely stiff to perform any kind of trick, really. Also, where's the speed? Where's the speed? Can I make... All right, so that turns me around. I guess the red meat, look, I got stuck in between 2 ramps there. That shouldn't happen. So, okay. So X jumps. There's no button. From what I can tell, there's no button to speed up my character. This is the speed he goes at. Look how slow this is. You're on a fucking BMX, and he's as slow as buggery. Look at this. Look how slow he is. How are you supposed to do any kind of tricks? You need to build up speed. It's common sense. You've got no excuse, Blue Shift. No excuse. Because I want to compare. When did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater come out? When did Tony Hawk's, the very first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater come out? This game came out in 2001. You could easily see. Hell, why didn't you just look at the previous MTV sports games? Look at snowboarding and Pure Ride, and you'll get an idea of how the game's supposed to flow. It's not supposed to flow like this. In case you're wondering, like I said, how it feels horrible to play this. It's clunky, there's no sense of speed, there's no pacing there's no flow to the controls whatsoever. It is atrocious. It is not good in the slightest. It does not control well. It feels horrible to control. Ugh. It's just disgusting. I'm sorry. It really is. It's just horrible. This is just a horrible, horrible game. Like, look, what is this? What is this? Look. He's cycling backwards. Now he's cycling forwards. What is these controls? Why do they control like this? Like, look at the jump. The jump alone just looks so awkward. Like, there's just no flow whatsoever to the controls. It controls horribly because of how clunky they are. This is atrocious. I'm sorry. This is just appalling. This controls terribly. What an appalling game. What an appalling game. I'm shocked, really. But then again, I've played MTV Sports Skateboarding, and that game is also atrocious. It controls horribly. Can't remember who developed that game, but yeah, it's just horrible. It's like, I don't understand why. Why, like you have plenty of reference material. Just play other, like how if you've never developed a game before, which they've got no excuse over because they have developed a game before at this point. Do they just not play other games to see how they play to try and replicate that feeling? Like literally, you play another game, you go, oh, this has got really good flow, or you've got, oh, this plays really nicely. Then you try to replicate that in your game. You continue to like tweak things, test it. You test until you can no longer test no more, until your thumbs are numb. I don't know. And then you can look at this and go, yeah, this now plays or feels like it plays very similar to that game I played. But instead it plays like this. It's just horrible. It just does not play well. Like I said, yeah, I can do this. But there's no way to speed up my good dude. Holding down X does not speed him up. I know it looks like he's cycling faster, but look at the sense of speed here. Look at it. How does that look like he's going fast? Look at it. Look. Also, I want to show you a trick. No, what was it? There was one point right at the beginning of the game where I went up the ramp straight, like with no turn, and I like pressed X or something. I don't know. It was just weird. Either way, regardless, like X does speed you up a little bit. It's not much though. It really isn't. It's just in comparison, the controls are just terrible. They are horribly clunky and stiff, and it's just not a good game. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So I'm gonna stop here because I really don't want to play any more of this game. It's just not a good BMX game. I can't really recommend you a good BMX game because I don't know. The BMX controls in the Tony Hawk series are pretty decent. You know, in American Wasteland. I honestly can't think of a BMX because I haven't really played that many BMX games, so I can't really think of a BMX game that controls better than this. But this is definitely a low point in BMX video games. Just do not play this at all. Again, it's horrible. It's just horrible. Anyway, I've been Bio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.